Welcome to the Glow Up Girl podcast, the show where purpose meets inspiration. Each week, I sit down with incredible individuals who open up about their real life journeys, the wins, the setbacks, and the lessons in between. Whether you're navigating career moves, entrepreneurship, or personal growth, you're in the right place. I'm Kyra Mitchell Lewis, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's glow up together. All right, happy Thursday. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're having a fantastic week and a great month so far. Let's see, what are we talking about today? I am always excited when I can talk about how to find abundance, how to find balance, and we will be doing that today with Rebecca Whitman. We'll be talking all about how to create a life of alignment. All right, so Rebecca is an international best-selling author, abundance mentor, and host of the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant podcast. Her work centers on 7 pillars of abundance that help people move from burnout to fulfillment across every area of life. All right, so we are still early in the year, so hopefully we are not feeling as if we are already burned out just yet. And hopefully, this discussion today with Rebecca will help us to really find that alignment and how we can maintain. So, if you came into the new year and you have that feeling of like, whew, right now, as much as you can, life is lifing out there, and we do know that. So, definitely do not want to say that, things are all rosy and peachy for everyone, but where we can find ways in our life to create that balance and that feeling of alignment, we will do that and we will learn how with Rebecca. So let's grab Rebecca and bring her into the conversation. All right. Oh, welcome back. And let's welcome Rebecca to the show. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you, Kyra. It's so great to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here and to have this conversation. So, why don't we get started by having you tell our audience listening or watching who you are and what you do?
Yes, my name is Rebecca Whitman, and I am the Magnetic Abundance Mentor. And you might see a woman who is confident. I've gotten a lot of awards like Mindset Coach of the Decade and Empowered Woman of the Year, but I wasn't always like that. Before I started my coaching business, I was in an abusive marriage, and it was really just everything I could do just to keep my spirits high. And after 3 years of marriage, I filed for divorce. And as my marriage was slowly and painfully unraveling, my dad was slowly and painfully dying back in Cincinnati. I was in LA at the time. And in one of our last conversations, my dad said, "Why don't you write a book?" And I was like, "Okay, what am I going to write about?" My dad passed away a few months later. My marriage dissolved. And I was sitting across the desk from my financial planner. And he said, "Rebecca, even though you lost your dad in your marriage this year, you're having your best financial year ever. You've actually become a millionaire. And I think you should teach women how to be so resilient." So I wrote a book. It's called How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time. And in the book, I divide life into 7 pillars. And when you have these 7 pillars of life in alignment, you can be, do, or have anything you want. So now I'm happily married to my soulmate. We're in our dream house, and I empower women, high achieving midlife women, to go from burned out to balanced, beautiful, and abundant through alignment, not the hustle and grind.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so I know everyone listening or watching is probably like, all right, Rebecca, tell us how. So
Yeah.
why don't we start by talking about those 7 pillars?
Sure. So the 7 pillars are in order of importance, and it starts with spirituality, having a connection with a power greater than yourself, whether you call it God, Allah, Jesus, Buddha, nature, universe, it doesn't really matter. I am a huge believer in a morning practice, and I have been using a journal format that I got probably since, before you were born. I got it in 1990. And in this journal, it helped transform my thinking from negative and victim thinking to empowered, just leader thinking. So I'm actually getting gift this journal to your listeners. So
Wow.
I'll give you that link, but I call it my abundance journal. So I journal, I pray, I meditate every morning. The second pillar is fitness. I am a huge believer in body over business. Your health is your wealth. So I schedule my business meetings around my fitness. I prioritize that even over my marriage, like, because if you don't have your health, then your whole life is about getting your health back. And if you have your health, then you have every opportunity. So after physical, it's emotional. And I believe that all emotions are either coming from fear or love, and that's from the Course in Miracles. But I've also changed fear-based emotions are scarcity emotions. There's not enough of whatever I think I want. Money, time, love, energy or abundance. I have more than enough time, more than enough talent, more than enough love, more than enough money, and it's just switching. And the fastest way to go from scarcity to abundance thinking is through a gratitude practice. I like to say that gratitude is the secret sauce for a happy life.
Mhm.
After emotions, it's romance. And I believe that your romantic partner affects every area of your life. And if somebody is being negative or toxic, like my patterns were before my current husband, to walk away from those relationships. And it's really hard, but you got to choose yourself. After romance is mental. Mental means listening to awesome shows like your show, Kyra, the Glow Up Girl, YouTube. There's so many different ways to grow your mind, books, Audible, seminars, travel, creativity. Keep growing your mind. I believe that at every age, we can always learn more and improve. After mental is social. I feel like people are in a high tech, low touch society. And after COVID, we never really went back to being as connected as we were because people started working from home and getting so comfortable just hanging out in their sweats all day and never leaving the house. And I really believe that community builds immunity. So whether that's, your church, your temple, your yoga class, the neighborhood association, wherever it is, to find community, to find those groups. And finally, the last pillar of abundance is financial. And everybody thinks abundance means money, but abundance can be all of these things. You can have an abundance of friends, an abundance of health, an abundance of love, an abundance of happiness, but financial is the last piece of the puzzle because when you're happy, when you're fit, when you have friends, when you have romance, you are going to magnetize people, places, things, and opportunities, just like I magnetized you, right? I didn't show up and knock on your door and ask to be on your podcast. You somehow found me online through the law of attraction. So that is my philosophy of the seven pillars of abundance. And it's a great framework to look at your life and ask yourself, which area am I crushing it in? Because you're all crushing it probably in at least one. And which area am I ignoring or deficient in and need some support? And I would encourage you to get support, whether that's hiring a coach like myself or just listening to podcasts or YouTube. There's so many ways to get support and to learn about an area where you're deficient.
Speaking of that deficiency, where do you see most women? Where do you see the struggle
That's a
or the
great question.
deficiency?
That is a great question. I feel like it's health personally.
Mhm.
I feel like once women get to a certain age, they just assume, oh, I'm just not going to have as much energy as I did when I was younger, or I'm just going to carry an extra 20 pounds, or they just assume that they have to be on medications.
Mhm.
They just give up on their health and vitality. So I definitely think, especially with high achieving midlife women, which is the type of women that I coach, a lot of them have given up on health. And I would say the second area is romance. They're like, I'm
Mhm.
just going to put all my effort and energy into making money, not going to rely on a man. They've let me down. I'm going to do it on my own. And they've just given up on love.
Mm. Interesting. But those 2 do make a lot of sense because I think that, from the health side, I think, like, I hear it a lot, and I think even, like, I think I even experienced it myself, like, during the pandemic, right? We went into the pandemic and then I mean, I was baking everything under the sun for my me and my husband and my pup, and we were just eating good. And then like after a while, I was like, wait, whose body is that? Because that's not my body. And then I think like I went through this phase where I was like, well, maybe okay, maybe I'll just carry the extra weight. And but then I started to realize it's like, no, I'm not happy. Like, I'm not happy. I don't wanna live this way. I wanna work out. I want to feel good. I wanna be fit. And then I just, like, made the decision for myself that, like, I'm going to change. And so, like, I then, like, thank God, I was just telling my husband yesterday, I was like, I'm back at this punching weight that I was, like, even before the pandemic. And so I'm like, but that's because, like, like, made a choice and made decision because yes, we are getting older. I am getting older. I'm about to hit the midlife century mark next month. So I'm like, I have to like
No
take care.
way. How old are
Yes,
you?
I'm 49 as
Oh
of
my god, you look, like, so young. I thought you were in your 30s. You look amazing.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But I will say, as of this episode, as we're talking today, I'm 49, but I will be hitting the big 50 next month. And so for me, it was just really important. I was like, I want to have energy. I want to like be around. And
Yeah.
especially like you said, as we get older, then you have to think about like we're sort of my husband and I are in that phase of life where we're seeing parents get older. We're starting to lose, we lost our his dad last year. And so we're
Right.
starting to see more people around us. And I'm like, no, I want to live for like as long as God would have me to live. And I want to die naturally in the way that God would have me to die, not because I didn't take care of myself. So I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
that's
I like that you talk about God on your podcast. So, yeah, this is a vessel, the body, temple that we're gifted by God, and I feel like it's our responsibility as a soul inside the body to take care of this body temple the best that we
mm,
can. And,
yes.
yeah, I'm a little bit older than you, I just turned 55, but I believe in, fit at 50, and
Yes.
it's never too late if you're listening to this podcast to make a decision like you made a decision that I'm going to prioritize my health.
Yes. Yeah, it's never too like you I'm so glad you said that because it is never too late. It's never too late and always this other thing. You are never behind. Never
Yes.
behind. Like because
That's
I
I like that. High achieving women, I think overwhelm,
Mhm.
because overwhelm and burnout are kind of two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Overwhelm is a feeling of, "Oh my god, I've got so much to do and I'm so far behind and I'm never gonna get
Mhm.
it done." It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
just take your breath. If you're listening to this
Yes.
podcast, exactly what Kyra says, you're not behind, you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. And it just brought me to that because I was talking to a friend of mine who like said that to me, and said, "Oh my gosh, like I was just looking at other people who started out like when I started out and they're like this position in a company and I feel like I'm behind and it was because I had to make sacrifices when I decided to have, my daughter." And I was like, pause, pause. Let me just pause you there." I said because you are exactly where God intends for you to be right now. Like,
Yeah.
you know that, and she's a believer, and I'm like, "You are a believer, and you know that." Like, you are where hit your story, you're part of the journey, he's written the story for you, you're in the place where he would have you to be, and I said, "Let me tell you this, it's also okay for us to change our mind and change our priorities." I was like, before the pandemic, I was grinding, crawling up that corporate ladder and wanted nothing more than to be like this position at, in my job. And I was like, when the pandemic happened, it just helped to sort of like help me reprioritize what really was important to me. What was important to me was my family and spending time with my parents who had both retired. And, and having that like moment where I thought there could be a time where a lot of us could die and I wouldn't be able to see them or have create more memories. I'm like, no, it's okay to pivot and have a shift in what is important. I said, as long as you're walking in the purpose that God called you to walk in. I said, and I feel I don't care. I said, the thing about it is like I'm not living for somebody else. Like, I don't care about those people. If that's the job that they want and that's the life they want, great for them. I said, but you can be high achieving and walking in a purpose to do a different thing that doesn't look like the thing that you thought you were going to be doing.
Exactly, I agree, and don't compare your chapter 5 to somebody's chapter 20
Exactly.
because
Great, Rebecca.
comparison is the thief of joy, and
Amen.
with everybody putting their highlight reel on social media, you can look at them and say, "Oh, well, they have so much more than me," but you don't know what their inner struggles are, what's going on the inside.
Exactly.
And just be grateful that you just have another day here on beautiful planet Earth and
Yeah.
that you have a chance to be of service and spend time with people you love. And I did the same thing. I was living in LA for 24 years because my dream was to be an actress. And I had small parts on really big shows like Friends, CSI, and 24. And when I met my husband, I started bringing him back home to Cincinnati, Ohio, where I grew up, and post-pandemic, he's like, "We should just move there and be near your mom." And then his parents were in Manhattan. They relocated to Cincinnati.
Oh.
For the first time, my husband and I are living in the same city as our parents for the first time in 30 years.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. But yeah, but it just came with like a shifting of priorities and what was important for you. And yeah, and I love that. I've been so fortunate over I think the last few days to have these types of conversations with people who have referenced social media. And don't get me wrong, as much as I love a good TikTok and I love I love being there, but you are so right. Like it's don't compare yourself to what someone else has going on because most people are just showing you like the pretty version of the highlight, not the thing that when they post it and then they turn, like who knows what's going on. And so you can't look there and say, oh, this person is traveling here and I can't go there. Or that like, and no one's saying like the person isn't doing it because there are people who are truly living, and doing these things. And there are some people who are not doing these things, but they are making you think they're doing these things. But just like social media just shouldn't be the lens as to where you determine your worth and value.
Yes, that is so true. Yeah, and it's the people who are like one of my shifts that I used to be a very competitive, jealous person. But one of the questions in the God journal, the abundance journal that I'm going to gift your listeners is like, how are other people progressing on their spiritual path? And what are other people doing well? Because when somebody's doing well, you can learn from them and be
Mhm.
inspired by them.
Yeah.
And I think that is a big shift to go from, like, competition to cheering someone on and appreciation that if they can do it, you can be inspired by them. And
Yeah.
even if you can't do it, like, and they're doing something, it's like, well, good for them. Everybody is exactly where they're supposed to be on their spiritual journey with their own unique lessons. You're where you're supposed to
Exactly.
be, and they're where they're supposed to be.
Exactly. And that is so important. So that's just another added value nuggets for you people.
Yeah.
So Rebecca, you talk about being an elegant warrior. Can you talk about that and what does that look like in practice?
Yes, well, it's a combination of masculine and feminine energy. So, elegant is the feminine energy. I don't teach my clients just to sit around on the couch and do nothing, but to do it with ease, grace, and spiritual dignity, to not push their energy around and to create businesses. I have a coaching program called Create Your Six-Figure Side Hustle. And I teach people not to quit their job right away,
Mhm.
but to have a side hustle so they're not in like a do or die desperate situation that, oh my God, if I don't sign this client or make this work, then I won't be able to pay my bills on time. So I tell my clients to have a business from contribution, not desperation, which is elegant. And then a warrior is the masculine energy. You get to take action and make those calls and go through the numbers, and sometimes there will be rejection and frustration and challenge and second guessing yourself. And that's just the journey of entrepreneurship. And that's totally okay. But be a warrior. Don't give up on your goals and dreams. Keep fighting and keep going. So I coach women to be elegant warriors.
Yeah, I love that. That's pretty awesome. Let's talk about balance because it's a conversation we have all the time. It's a conversation I think lots of people have, especially women. Why do you feel it's essential for like our long-term success and joy?
It's a beautiful worded question. I do think balance is not possible. Like, you'll never have all 7 pillars of abundance at a level 10 perfectly at the same time. But I
Mhm.
think of the 7 pillars of abundance as instruments in a symphony. And sometimes you're focusing more on the horn or the clarinet or the drums or the trombone or the violin. And having a balanced, beautiful, and abundant life means they're all playing together. So, for example, some of the things, the spirituality is non negotiable. Every single morning, I write in my journal, I do my prayer meditation. Romance, we try to have one date night a week. Social, I try to have one social visit a week with a friend where we just have fun and don't discuss business. Business is or financial is, I have several streams of income, but I try to take Fridays and Sundays off. So I'm not doing everything all day because that would be impossible. So you kind of just look at your life and see what your priorities are, and it changes in different phases. If somebody has a newborn baby, obviously they're not going to be like crushing it at the gym every morning when, the baby's been keeping them up all night. So you have to look at what is your age and stage of life and kind of prioritize which of the 7 pillars you want to do every day. But I do believe you should be touching all 7 at least once a week.
Mhm. Oh, I love that. I think that's really good advice, and guidance because I think people hear that and they're like, "Oh, I've got to do it every day." And like you said, there are some non-negotiables. Like there are some things that you are definitely doing every day. But I like what you said about like making sure you touch them at least once a week. And I like the boundaries of you saying, like I'm gonna be off on Friday and Sunday. Thank you so much for letting me. Intrude on your Friday?
Oh, it's okay. I wanted to be on your podcast, and I noticed that's one of your recording days, so it's all good. And this is not work to me, by the way. Like, I really enjoy talking to great people like yourself and learning from each other, and this could be like in a coffee shop somewhere. So,
Alright, yeah,
not
I could be your social, like, your
yeah,
social
you could be my social visit this week.
Yes. So I really love that because I think like that helps people to sort of see you and what you all that you have going on. And it's like, okay, Rebecca stops on these days and she, honors, rest on Friday and rest on Sunday because I think that's really important. Because I remember for myself when I first started this business and I had a corporate job and I would find myself like, working on Saturdays and Sundays and then sending off these emails on Saturdays, I let it slide, but on Sundays, I'm like, no, like we should be sending people emails on Sundays because it's like, I need to honor the day of Sabbath and I need to like just assume whatever your religious affiliation or what you believe in, you still need rest. So
Amen. Yes.
it's so those were like just changes and things that I tried to do. And I noticed like God bless her. I have a friend who is a business owner and she sends emails out at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, first of all, are you up at 2 o'clock? And why are you sending me why are you sending emails at 2 o'clock? I'm like, do you realize people could see emails at 2 o'clock? They may not answer you, but you still may like send something and it sort of disrupts a person at that hour who might be like in full, like I'm chilling watching TV mode. But I looked at my phone and I saw this email and now I have to think about responding to that person the next day. So it's just like just more for yourself because I just think like people are sort of like wonder why are you sending emails at 2 o'clock? And
Yeah.
it's like, why aren't you sending emails at like normal time? So I try to definitely make sure that I am respectful of not only a boundary for myself, but just for other people not to do that to them. So
Definitely, and I don't even check my emails until at least a half an hour after I've woken up. So also, it
Yeah.
takes 2 just because she sends it at 2 in the morning doesn't mean people have to read it either.
Is it true? Yep, you can just see it and keep it moving and going, "Oh, okay. That's what
Exactly.
that's what we're doing, okay." Um, let's while we're talking about that, because this is something that a lot of people that are faced with who are building like their side gigs, their side hustles, how can they pursue abundance while maintaining like their career
Yeah.
or building the side hustle?
I think of time management like HIIT training. Do you know what HIIT
Oh
is?
yeah.
High
Mhm.
intensity interval training. You do like a
Yeah.
burst of a workout move, and then you take like a 30-second to a minute rest, and then you go again. So I think you should have your focus days where you're like pedal to the metal. I'm going to work my corporate job. Then I'm going to come home and time block 3 hours
Mhm.
of very focused work. I don't think you need more than 2 to 3 hours a day. So you have your focus days where you're doing 2 to 3 hours in addition to your regular job. And then you have your play day. And your play day is something where you get to have fun. It doesn't have to cost money. It can be, Netflix and chill, or taking a walk in a beautiful park, or hanging out with your loved ones. You and I are both obsessed with our dog, taking your dog somewhere, but just to have some play day. And if you're so busy, if you're in such a season of life where you're like, Rebecca, I can't have a whole play day, well, then have a play morning. Just do something fun,
Mhm.
because joy is gonna feed your energy, and you'll have if your cup is full, you'll have way more to give your business than if you're working from burnout or depletion. And it's so
Mhm.
important that we fill our cup up first, especially as women, because when we are just tired and fatigued and burned out, then we're not gonna show up for our family as well, our friends, our businesses. So it's important that we pour into ourselves and fill our cup up with joy and have those play days. And one of the things that I started doing is I started having slumber parties for women. They're called
Nice.
soulful slumber parties.
Uh-huh.
And I had one, and it sold out, but basically we get to be like we were when we were 12, and we had slumber parties, and we had no bills or kids or anything,
Mhm.
serious like we do now with responsibilities, and we just got to play and have fun and dance and be girls. And so at these soulful slumber parties, the women get to wear I provide silk pajamas, and then the next day we did a sound bath healing ceremony. I did my 7 pillars of abundance mindset workshop. We had a photo shoot and then a fancy dinner party, and it was
Nice.
24 hours just to play, and it just filled the women up.
Oh, I
So
love that.
yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'll give you guys my, Instagram link in bio. It's, pillar.io/Rebecca E. Whitman. It's in my Instagram bio, but I'll also give it to you, Kyra, and you can see when the next Soulful Slumber party is. But it's just a lot of fun to
Mhm.
not have worries for 24 hours and just
Yes.
be a girl.
Yes. Oh, I love that's pretty awesome. All right. So let's talk about the mindset because our mindset and making those shifts really can help us to move from that feeling of burnout, overwhelm to alignment. So, what would you say are some of those shifts that people need to make in order to do that?
Well, I like to say when I'm committed to something, my energy expands. So if you're thinking about starting a business and you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I have the time or money to invest, and I don't think I'm really gonna make it in this business. Every other business I tried failed." It's gonna feel like a burden, and it's gonna feel annoying to do that in addition to your job. But if you're committed, like, "I am gonna make this business work come heck or high water. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do. I don't care if it takes me 10 or 20 years. It's gonna eventually work." Your commitment is where the magic happens.
Mhm.
So I would encourage you, if you're feeling tired and burned out, to be even more committed, and that passion is going to energize you. Other mindset hacks are, instead of I have to, change that to I get to. I have to wake up early to go to the gym. No, I get to wake up early because God gave you a healthy body to move. So many people are impaired or didn't even wake up, So it's I get to pay my bills, not I have to. Well, you get to pay your bills because the bills are providing things for your lifestyle that you're enjoying. I get to pick the kids up. There was a time where you didn't even have kids and you were dreaming about having kids or trying to conceive. And now that you have kids, there are extra things to do. So you get to pick your kids up. You get to pay for your kids' private school. So changing the have tos to I get tos. Another thing is taking should out of your vocabulary. The words would've, could've, and should've are all words that we use to beat ourselves up. And as a recovering perfectionist, I like to say I'm striving for imperfection. I am not a mistake if I make a mistake. And when I say woulda, coulda, and shoulda, I'm like, oh, I'm beating myself up, right? I should have done that. I could have done it better. It's like, nope, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're right on time. Everything is right about you and strive for imperfection. Don't be perfect, be present. We can all be present and listen and connect with another human being, but trying to be perfect is just too much pressure and it's going to create burnout. So, those are some mindset tips that have been working for me.
Love those. Thank you.
Mhm.
Tell us about your podcast.
Yes, it's right there, the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant show. And it's been ranked top 50 in the category of education out of millions of podcasts in the United States. And it's all about teaching women to go from burned out and overwhelmed to balanced, beautiful, and abundant. And when I interview guests, they're in one of these 7 pillars, and they will give the listeners tips, tools, and strategies to get that pillar of life to a level 10. So I've interviewed like Hay House bestselling authors like Joe Vitale, Marie Diamond, Christy Whitman, Marcy Scheimhoff, some of the Ken Honda, who's like the Tony Robbins of Japan. He wrote Happy Money. So there's been a lot of great people on the show, and I've had it for 5 years. I started it right before COVID in March of 2020, and it's just been going consistently, and I have close to 300 episodes.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Tell our listeners how they can connect to you.
Yeah, so my name is Rebecca E. Whitman on Instagram. That is the best way to connect with me. And in my Instagram bio, the link in bio is Pillar. I have lots of fun events. I do virtual summits that are free, workshops quarterly. I have very fun events like the Soulful Slumber Party that's happening in February. I do retreats and just I'm all about empowering women to be their best self, to be empowered and to go from frustrated and burned out to balanced, beautiful, and abundant. And I am about that midlife glow. So I love that your podcast is called Glow Up Girl because I think that midlife can be the best chapters of your life if you really know how to take care of yourself and apply these principles to your life. So, Rebecca E. Whitman, my website is RebeccaWhitman.com, RebeccaWhitman.com. And you can find me pretty much all over social media, but Instagram, if you want to DM me, that's the best way to contact me personally. It's me, it's not an assistant or anything like that responding.
Awesome. Love that. All right. So we're going to move into three things with Rebecca. I'm going to ask you three more questions that just helps our audience get to know you even better. The first question is a two-parter. How do you start and end the day?
Okay. Well, I start my day with this abundance journal, which I'm going to gift everyone with. So, again, it's in my pillar link, but I write in this journal. It's a beautiful way to start my day. Then I do prayer, meditation. I read from spiritual books. I also do detox water I put collagen, lemon, apple cider vinegar, and ginseng in water. Next beverage is coffee with protein powder and maca root powder in it. It tastes really good. Um, then I go work out, play tennis, or lift weights. I end my day, I make a healthy dinner for myself and my husband, and we like to watch TV, or sometimes because we're both entrepreneurs, we'll be like, let's just do like a quick 30 minutes to wrap up whatever we've been doing. And we just hang out on the couch with the phones because everybody's working from their phones. And then we take my beautiful black lab Indigo for a walk. And I end the day with a skincare ritual. I'm really all about skincare. And, yeah, then and I take my supplements before I go to bed, and that is how I end my day. I really love my mornings and my evenings because they're like the bookends of my day, and I have rituals and practices that affirm self-love and self-care, and they
Mhm.
really make me feel complete.
Awesome. I love that. All right. Question number 2 is what's an intention you're holding this year?
My intention this year is to do my first paid keynote speech. I have been doing I've been on over 200 podcasts. I've been doing virtual summits. Those are they've been great, but now I'm ready to take my show on the road, get out on a live event on a live stage. So that is my intention this year.
Awesome. Well, I know you'll be there.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Kyra.
And the last question is where are you currently finding inspiration?
Wow, I love this question. I find inspiration through podcasts. I love podcasts like your podcast, and I've been listening to this podcast. I think it's called Motivation Daily, and it's like excerpts from these like really powerful motivation speeches. Yeah, Motivation Daily by Motiversity. It just totally gets me going. I also love listening to YouTube videos by
Mhm.
Esther Hicks, and she channels Abraham, and that's all
Mhm.
about the law of attraction. That gives me a lot of inspiration.
Mhm.
And what else am I finding? I have coaches. I mean, I'm a coach who has a coach. I
Mhm.
am really learning stuff every single day. I have a really great coach, and it's all about the law of attraction right now, mindset, heart set, and I'm inspired by learning. I'm someone that will be learning until my last breath, and I've always had a coach, right? I'm making a tennis comeback. I played college tennis. I took
Nice.
30 years off, and now I'm coming back, and I'm in a very competitive women's league. So I'm really inspired to get back to the shape that I was in when I was a kid and relearning a sport that I played when I was a kid. And then I took a long break, and that's
Mhm.
been really physically and mentally challenging and inspiring me too.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, Rebecca, it's been so great chatting with you. I have absolutely loved this conversation.
Thank
And
you.
I do have one last question before I let you go. It's what are 3 things you'd like our listeners or watchers to take away from our conversation today?
Well, I have loved this conversation too. Thank you so much for having me on your show. The 3 takeaways is life is supposed to be fun. Having fun gets it done. Stop taking life so seriously. And I had to say that for myself because I'm someone who takes life too seriously. So have more fun. The second thing is don't be perfect, be present. We can all work on presence, putting our phone down, doing what we're doing right now, connecting soul to soul, human to human is so beautiful. And we can just learn from each other, and conversations like this just lift me up. So don't be perfect, be present is the third thing. And the second thing. And the third thing is drink more water because it'll help
Yes.
you have more energy and look younger, and we all need to drink more water. And I'm not saying plain water because I have different things. If you look at my Instagram link in bio, different nutritional supplements that I use to like make my water taste better and have more potency, but just drink more water. I have to like go to the bathroom all the time, but it's a small price to pay for like having energy and looking younger than I am. So, yeah.
Right? Yes.
You have to do that too?
Oh, all day. Like before this hour, I was like, okay, can't drink any more water because I'll have to use the bathroom. So I'm on pause.
Ex
But
exactly.
when we get finished, then I'll be drinking more water.
Me too.
Awesome.
We're
Well,
so aligned. I love it.
right? Thank you so much again, Rebecca, for coming and sharing. And you can always come back here in the future.
Thank you so much, Kyra. It's been a great conversation and nice to meet everyone who's listening.
Awesome. Stay tuned, everyone. All right. Oh, welcome back. Let's thank Rebecca again for joining the show today. What awesome conversation. I love those types of conversations and just really am so thankful that we connected. We just connected more after this recording. But if you want to learn more about Rebecca, make sure you check out the links in the show notes, and also make sure you get that journal. Take advantage of that opportunity as well. All right, if you'd like to learn more about Glow Up Girl, you can visit glowupgirl.com and you can sign up for our newsletter, get tools, insights, and inspiration for your glow up journey. All right, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel also. We are at Glow Up Girl, and wherever you're listening, don't forget to rate, review, and share. Helps more people find the show. And if you're sharing anything on social, make sure you tag us so we can amplify it as well. All right, for all of my ladies out there saying that I have a story to tell this year, I want to tell my story, but I don't quite know how to build that narrative. Check out Story Labs, which is a service that I offer. It helps women to really determine like what is my pitch? What pitch do I take for speaking engagement? How do I pitch myself for a podcast or any other opportunities where you have to tell your own personal story? So check out Story Labs at glowupgirl.com. Also, for my creatives and business owners who want to work smarter, not harder, as I always say, I have a company called Studio Wonderwell. You can learn more at hellowonderwell.com. So that is where I can help you with any consulting that you need, from marketing, strategy to systems. And lastly, if you're a brand or business looking to partner with a community of women chasing big dreams, as always, Glow Up Girl is accepting sponsorship. So make sure you reach out at hello@glowupgirl.com. All right, let's thank Rebecca one more time for coming to the show. Make sure you check out her links, check out our podcast as well. I want to just say thank you so much for taking time out of your day and spending a part of it with me. I am so, 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 so appreciative of everyone who listens or watches us. All right, so that does it, my friends. I will see you all next week. So until then, stay focused, fab, and glow up. Take care, everyone.